I'm here with Todd McDonald from Inmarsat. Todd, tell us about some of the projects that you're working on.
Well, yeah, thanks, Ella. So we have a whole lot of announcements in the marketplace at the moment. We announced Project Moonlight earlier this year. So that's about a communications network around the moon. And that's not important just for doing things on the moon, but in fact things like missions to Mars will need that sort of technology. We've also announced things like In Command, which is in a way to allow small satellites, what we normally call CubeSats, to communicate in space, which makes their life a lot easier and also helps to manage potential conflict in terms of things running into each other. We've announced some technology called InRange, which allows rockets to have their telemetry managed without having to have a whole lot of ground stations. And that's quite an innovation because it's usually very complicated and expensive to put a lot of ground stations in to launch rockets. And many countries, including the UK, want to launch rockets.
And in terms of 2022, has it been a landmark year for you?
So 2022 is shaping up as a very good year for the Inmarsat business. We've put some press out recently about how we've performed in H1. That's been very good. Of course, aviation has started to really, no pun intended, take off. The numbers are going up a lot. And what we're seeing now is that people have an even greater expectation to communicate in flight. We provide a lot of those services, so that's really driving utilisation in aviation. But also shipping is a crucial way to move things around the planet. We provide connectivity for the vast majority of ships at sea. And even in government, we're doing a lot of work in everything from supporting operations in various countries right through to helping things like manage climate change, deal with natural disasters and so on. So yes, 22 is proving to be a big year for Inmarsat.
And how can we go about attracting a more diverse talent pool to the space sector?
So that's a great question because that is something we really do need to do. You and I were speaking earlier about a report we helped to fund, an independent report that surveyed 20,000 people over 11 countries about what they think of space. And in fact, it's interesting, people in the over 60s age group think a lot about space. They think it's a great thing, it brings a lot of benefit to the Earth and so on. But a lot of those people know the Apollo program, which of course ended basically early 70s. However, people under 25 think that space is just for billionaires. And so that's a bit of a problem when every day, the moment you get out of bed, space is helping you from using an ATM, driving your car, using your phone and so on. So I think talking more about some of the things we are doing and explaining to people that if space helps the world move, work and operate every day, then there's a lot of opportunity. And in fact, while we're seeing a lot of disruption in other markets and areas, you see today so many supermarkets, for example, are self-serve, whereas there used to be people helping you buy your goods. But space has nothing but upside, of course. We've got all of these new areas working much more in position, navigation and timing. So that's about making the position your phone and other things know to be more accurate. Because in an autonomous world, you have to know the autonomous platform, the car or the plane or the boat, has to know where it is within less than a metre. And we don't have that today. So there's tremendous things to be worked on, all wrapped around what space brings.
And what are some of the challenges that we're facing to achieve those objectives?
Yes, well, there are many challenges. Some of them are technological. Of course, we're developing new technology all the time, and then that has to be proven because classically when you do something in space, once you put it there, you can't get it back. Now, I can contradict that a little bit because we're already working on other technologies today where we will change the way something works in space. So the idea of perhaps making something multifunctional, it might be launched to do 4 jobs instead of 1. But certainly driving education really helps us. So there's a lot of talk these days about STEM. STEM is an important part of what we do, although regulatory and legal is as well. So we need legal specialists. Regulatory frameworks is an area that, of course, in any industry is much slower to catch up than where the industry is moving. And that's an area where governments need to work much more today because space is everybody's front yard. You know, there's some interesting reports out now that by the end of this decade, in round numbers, 1 tonne a day of technology will be going into space. Now, that technology only lasts about 5 years, and what goes up must come down. And if I said to you I was going to put a tonne of stuff in your front yard every day, you'd probably not be very happy about that. And space is everyone's front yard. So we're certainly encouraging and having conversations with governments. We're producing technology like this that allows small CubeSats to communicate in space. And that's all designed to try and drive some of this space management, or what the world now knows as space sustainability. So, and that again produces more opportunity. because there's many people working in that domain around the world, and they need this kind of technology to make that work.
And how important is Spacecom to get together with people here in the UK?
Well, it's great you asked that question, actually, because you can see a very wide range of companies here. I've seen legal companies, consulting companies, launch companies. So we are all looking for new ideas. And in our case, I've often said to some of the industry bodies, we don't really have enough people to go around and see everyone every day. So we do come to events like this to, if you like, peel back the covers. Well, what is somebody working on that we don't know about that we might be able to put into some new piece of technology, inform something we're thinking about? And then some of the people you already work with, we collaborate. I've already spoke with Lockheed, CGI, Serco and so on today. We formed a partnership called Team Athena. That's about delivering a whole new level of capability and innovation in space for the UK. And so we come together and say, well, what did you see? What did you see? Is there something we might bring into that partnership? So it brings a lot of benefit.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you, Ellen.